Mabuhay, and welcome back to the Excel Edge podcast.
You already know.
You know who we are?
Lex and Vera.
That's right.
Team Vera.
Lex and Vera, and today we have a really exciting deep dive for you.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at the Philippines Residential Property Market Analysis 2024.
Big title.
Big title.
Lots to unpack.
Lots to unpack. So, if you are a Filipino thinking about buying your first home,
Especially our kabayans.
or investing in property, this is for you.
Absolutely.
So the report actually describes the current market growth as
sluggish,
yeah, which is kind of interesting.
It is interesting.
Because weak demand and a growing number of unsold units.
Yeah. Have you noticed that?
I've noticed that a little bit.
Especially in Metro Manila, you know.
Yeah, those big high-rise.
And central business districts.
Yeah, the CBDs.
Yeah.
So what's going on there?
So many factors, right?
Like what?
Global economic slowdown.
Okay.
You know, the U.S.-China trade war is having an impact.
It's still affecting us.
And we're still recovering from COVID.
Oh, right.
And on top of that, interest rates have gone up.
Right. So many things at play.
So many things.
But here's the interesting thing.
What's that?
Real house prices are still lower than they were before the Asian financial crisis.
Imagine that.
Can you believe it?
After that boom.
That boom.
From 2010 to 2018.
So wild.
Crazy.
So what does this mean if I'm thinking now is the time to buy?
You know, it could be a good time.
Could you?
But we need to look at the different segments of the market.
That makes sense.
To see where the opportunities are.
Now, we all know that OFWs play a huge role in the market.
Huge.
And they send home a lot of money.
$33.49 billion.
Billion US dollars in 2023.
Wow.
And a lot of that goes into real estate.
It does.
So many of our Kabayans are investing back home.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
It is.
But how does that square with this whole oversupply thing we're talking about?
Right. So if you look at the market,
Okay.
there are three main segments. High-end, middle tier,
middle tier,
low-end.
low-end.
And the oversupply is really concentrated in those lower middle-class condo developments.
Okay, so not just a general oversupply.
No, it's specific.
Interesting. And those are often targeted towards OFW investors.
Exactly.
So take-up rates are important to watch.
Very important.
Now, on the flip side, we've got a shortage of affordable housing.
Yeah, especially at the low end.
At the low end.
So what's being done about that?
Well, the government has this program.
Oh, yeah, the 4PH program.
The 4PH program.
They want to build 6 million housing units.
Ambitious.
By 2028.
Wow.
It's a huge goal.
Yeah, they're already working on projects.
I've heard about that.
Pampanga, Davao City,
Okay.
even here in Metro Manila.
It's going to create so many jobs.
Absolutely.
But are there any challenges?
Oh, of course.
Like?
Affordability is a big one.
Makes sense.
Even with government subsidies.
Okay.
And low-interest loans.
It still needs to be affordable.
Location matters, too.
Absolutely.
Can't just build houses anywhere.
Right. Access to jobs.
Transportation.
The health care.
Schools. Everything.
Everything.
And, of course, the units need to be well-built.
Yes. And sustainable.
We'll be keeping an eye on how this develops.
Definitely.
So speaking of developments, the condo market is still growing.
Yeah, but at a slower pace.
Okay.
The Bay Area is seeing a lot of action.
But what about the PO-GO ban?
Ah, yes, the PO-GO ban.
Philippine offshore gaming operators.
That has led to higher vacancy rates.
Really?
In the Bay Area.
Because a lot of those workers were renting condos.
Exactly.
So what does this mean for people who are thinking of investing?
It's a mixed bag.
How so?
You might find good deals because of the vacancies.
Okay.
But you need to be careful.
Right.
Will the area recover?
Will those vacancies persist?
Those are the questions.
So important to do your research.
Absolutely.
And maybe talk to an expert.
Like us.
At Excel Edge Realty.
We specialize in mid-price to high-ticket property.
We can help you navigate the market.
Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned investor.
Okay, so let's talk about mortgages.
Okay.
Good news. The central bank has been cutting interest rates.
That's good news for buyers.
Makes those monthly payments a little easier?
It does.
But the report says the mortgage market here is still pretty small.
It is.
Compared to other countries.
Right. And those transaction costs and the loan approvals can be a hassle.
We need to see some improvement there.
We do.
To make homeownership more accessible.
Absolutely.
Now, beyond these market trends, we need to talk about the bigger picture.
The economy.
The economy, exactly.
The peso is depreciating.
Right.
Inflation is easing. The
Yeah.
economy is growing.
The tourism industry is recovering.
All these things matter.
So how does the weakening peso affect things?
Well, it makes properties more attractive to foreign buyers.
Because their money goes further,
Exactly.
so we might see more foreign investment. But for Filipinos earning pesos,
It might feel like prices are even higher.
it's all about perspective.
It is.
Now, what about inflation easing?
That's good news for consumers.
How so?
It means your money can buy more.
Purchasing power goes up,
Exactly.
so this could boost demand in the real estate market.
It could.
Now, economic growth,
More jobs,
higher incomes,
consumer confidence,
all good things.
all good things for real estate.
And tourism
Brings in foreign currency,
creates jobs,
boosts demand.
and that includes real estate.
Absolutely.
So it's all interconnected.
It is.
The economy, global trends, government policies, individual decisions.
It all affects the market.
It's a dynamic
It's
system.
constantly evolving.
So stay informed, do your research, and work with trusted professionals.
Like us at Excel Edge Realty,
We can help you find the perfect property.
whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned investor.
You can find us online at www.xledge.com, woc.vah.
We have tons of resources
Listings and expert advice.
to help you make smart decisions.
And don't forget to hit that follow button
And share this episode.
with your family and friends.
We'll be back with more in-depth analysis
And actionable advice.
in the next part of our deep dive.
So stay tuned.
This is Lex
Is there
from the Excel Edge podcast.
signing off for now.
Salamat po. So, before the break, we were talking about how the Philippine peso's depreciation can make properties more attractive to foreign buyers.
Right, because their money goes further here.
Exactly.
So we could see an increase in foreign investment in real estate,
Potentially. Yeah.
which could drive up demand and prices,
It's a possibility.
but it could also make things tougher for local buyers.
Especially those earning pesos.
It's a balancing act for sure.
It is.
Now, the report also mentioned that inflation is easing.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean for our listeners who are thinking about buying a home?
Well, easing inflation is generally good news for buyers.
Right.
It means their money can stretch a bit further.
Oh.
When inflation is high, prices go up and your purchasing power decreases.
Right.
But when it cools down, you can get more bang for your buck.
So easing inflation could potentially make those down payments and monthly mortgage payments a little easier to manage.
That's the idea.
And it could also boost overall demand in the real estate market.
It's possible.
Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
We've got a robust economic growth rate here in the Philippines.
We do.
How does that factor into the real estate equation?
Well, strong economic growth usually leads to more jobs, higher incomes, and increased consumer confidence.
Right.
And when people feel good about the economy, they're more likely to make big investments.
Like buying a home.
Exactly.
So a healthy economy can create a ripple effect that benefits the real estate market.
That's right.
And we can't forget about the recovering tourism industry.
Absolutely.
As more tourists flock to the Philippines,
Yes.
we could see a surge in demand for vacation homes, rental properties, and even commercial real estate in tourist hotspots.
It's definitely a possibility.
It's like a domino effect.
Uh-huh.
One positive trend can trigger others.
Creating a more vibrant and dynamic real estate market.
Exactly.
Now, let's bring it back to our listeners who are specifically interested in the condo market.
Yeah.
We've talked about the oversupply in certain segments,
Right.
but there are still some exciting developments happening.
Like what?
The Bay Area, for instance, is still a hotbed for new projects.
But there's also a lot of talk about the impact of the POGO ban.
Ah, yes, the POGO ban.
Right. The ban on Philippine offshore gaming operators.
It's definitely created some uncertainty in the Bay Area.
Especially with those rising vacancy rates in condos that used to be occupied by POGO workers.
It's a big shift.
It is.
Yeah.
So for someone thinking about investing in a condo in the Bay Area,
Mhm.
what's the advice?
Do your homework.
What do you mean?
Don't just jump in because the price seems tempting.
Okay.
Research the specific development, the developer's track record, the amenities, and most importantly, the potential for rental income or resale value down the line.
Makes sense.
Talk to a trusted real estate agent who understands the nuances of that particular market
Absolutely. A knowledgeable agent can guide you through the complexities.
and help you make a wise decision.
Now, for those who are more focused on finding a home to live in rather than an investment property,
Right.
there's also a lot to consider.
There is, especially for our first-time home buyers.
It can feel overwhelming with all the choices out there.
It can be a lot to take in.
So where do you even begin?
Well, first, you need to understand your needs and priorities.
Okay.
Are you looking for a spacious house for a growing family?
Or a cozy condo unit for a young professional?
Exactly. Do you prioritize being close to the city center?
Or having access to green spaces and a more laid-back lifestyle?
Once you've figured out what you're looking for,
Then what?
the next step is to set a realistic budget.
How do you do that?
Consider your income, your expenses, and how much you can comfortably afford to spend on a down payment and monthly mortgage payments.
And don't forget about those additional costs.
Like what?
Closing fees, property taxes.
Right, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of buying a home.
It is.
But it's crucial to stay grounded and make sure you're making a financially sound decision.
Now, if you're planning on getting a mortgage, there's been some good news lately.
Oh, yeah.
With the Banco Central London Philippines cutting interest rates.
That's right.
This could make mortgages a bit more affordable.
It could.
But remember, the mortgage market here in the Philippines still has its challenges.
It does. Those high transaction costs and lengthy loan approval processes can be frustrating.
Definitely something that needs to be improved to make homeownership more accessible for Filipinos.
I agree.
But despite these challenges, it's still an achievable dream for many.
Absolutely.
And speaking of achievable dreams, let's talk about the government's 4PH program,
Okay.
which aims to address the affordable housing shortage.
This program has the potential to make a huge difference in the lives of millions of Filipinos.
I've heard that it's a massive undertaking.
It is a goal of building 6 million housing units by 2028.
Wow. And they're already working on projects all over the country.
They're from Pampanga to Davao City and even here in Metro Manila.
It's exciting to see these projects taking shape.
It is.
But we also need to acknowledge the challenges that come with such a large-scale initiative.
Of course.
Like what? Well, affordability is key. These units need to be truly affordable for those who need them most.
Even with government subsidies and low-interest loans.
Exactly. Location is also crucial.
Right.
These developments need to be situated in areas where residents can easily access jobs, transportation, schools, healthcare, and other essential services.
It's not just about building houses, it's about creating communities that are sustainable, safe, and vibrant.
It requires a holistic approach,
Considering not just the physical structures.
but also the social and economic well-being of the residents. Now I'm curious, with all these different factors at play,
Like what?
the economic trends, the government programs, the OW market, the rising middle class,
Okay.
where do you see the Philippine real estate market heading in the next few years?
That's a great question.
It is a complex landscape with many moving parts.
It is. But I think there are a few key trends to watch.
Okay, all ears, give us your expert insights.
Well, first of all, I believe the demand from OFWs will continue to be a significant driver in the market.
That makes sense. They've been a steady force in the market for years,
Exactly. And I think we'll see developers continue to cater to their needs.
offering properties that are attractive both as investments and potential homes for when they return to the Philippines.
That's right.
So that mid-tier segment, particularly condos, is likely to remain active.
I believe so, yes. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, the success of the 4PH program will be crucial in addressing the affordable housing shortage.
And not just addressing it, but doing so in a way that creates thriving communities.
Absolutely. It's about more than just putting roofs over people's heads. It's about creating opportunities for a better life.
I like that now another trend I'm watching closely is the growth of the Filipino middle class.
Ah, yes. The rising middle class.
That's a powerful force to be reckoned with.
It is indeed. As more Filipinos move into the middle class, their purchasing power increases.
And that will have a significant impact on the real estate market.
You got it. They'll be looking for homes that offer more space, comfort, and amenities.
Exactly. And this could fuel demand in both the mid-tier and even the high-end segments of the market.
It's possible.
So it's an exciting time to be involved in Philippine real estate, both as a buyer and an investor.
It certainly is. There are opportunities to be found in all segments of the market.
But it's more important than ever to do your research.
Absolutely.
Understand the risks and rewards.
And seek expert guidance.
And that's where Excel Edge Realty comes in.
That's right.
We specialize in those mid-price to high-ticket properties.
Helping Filipinos like you find their dream homes or make smart investments.
Whether you're an OFW looking to invest back home,
A first-time buyer navigating the market for the first time?
or a seasoned investor seeking to expand your portfolio,
Our team at Excel Edge is here to guide you every step of the way.
you can find us online at www.xledge.com/5th
We've got tons of resources, listings, and expert advice to help you make informed decisions.
And don't forget to follow us on social media for the latest market updates and property insights.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
Let's distill the key takeaways for our Filipino first-time home buyers and property investors.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have exploring the current market trends, the impact of economic forces.
And the opportunities and challenges facing both buyers and investors.
We've seen how OFW remittances continue to play a crucial role in driving demand.
But also how this can lead to oversupply in certain segments.
The government's 4PH program aims to address the affordable housing shortage.
But challenges remain in terms of location affordability and infrastructure development. The condo market is still growing, but the PO-GO ban has created some uncertainty, especially in the Bay Area.
The rental market is favoring renters in some segments.
With sluggish rent growth and rising vacancy rates.
And while interest rate cuts by the BSP offer some relief to mortgage seekers.
The mortgage market itself remains relatively small and challenging to navigate.
So what does this all mean for you?
Well, the market is definitely in a state of flux.
But there are still opportunities for savvy buyers and investors.
Absolutely.
Do your research get pre-approved for a loan if you're considering a mortgage?
And most importantly, work with a trusted real estate agent like those at Excel Edge Realty.
We can help you navigate the complexities of the market and find the property that aligns with your goals.
Now, as you continue your property journey, here's something to ponder.
Okay.
We've talked about the impact of OFW remittances and government programs.
Right.
But what about the rising middle class within the Philippines?
Interesting.
How will their growing purchasing power shape the future of real estate?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with.
It is a dynamic market,
It is.
and staying informed is key.
Remember, knowledge is power in the real estate world.
Ask questions, seek expert advice.
And don't be afraid to dive deep into the information available to you.
Before we sign off,
Yes.
don't forget to hit that follow button and share this episode with your family and friends who might benefit from these insights.
We're here to empower you to make smart real estate decisions.
This is Lex
And Vera.
from the Excel Edge podcast, signing off.
Salamat po.
We've talked about so many things that are affecting the market right now.
Yeah, it's a lot to process.
It is, but the bottom line is
There are opportunities out there.
both for buyers and investors.
That's what we like to hear.
It's an exciting time for Philippine real estate.
It is, and we at Excel Edge Realty are here to guide you every step of the way,
That's right. We understand this market,
inside and out,
and we can provide that expert advice.
to make those informed decisions.
Whether you're an OFW looking to invest or a first-time buyer,
Or even a seasoned investor looking to expand your portfolio.
we've got you covered.
You can find us online at www.excelage.com/EAETH
We've got tons of resources there, listings,
and expert advice.
to help you on your real estate journey.
Don't forget to follow us on social media too.
For all the latest updates.
Market insights, property insights.
Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, we've seen how OFW remittances continue to be a major force in the market.
Driving demand, especially for those mid-tier condos.
But we also need to be mindful of oversupply in certain areas.
The 4PH program is making progress
It is.
in addressing that affordable housing shortage.
But there are still challenges when it comes to affordability, location, and infrastructure development.
Right. And the condo market is still growing.
It is,
But that PO-GO ban has created some uncertainty.
especially in the Bay Area.
So if you're thinking about investing there,
Do your research.
the rental market is also interesting. It is favoring renters in some segments. Sluggish rent growth. Rising vacancy rates.
And while interest rate cuts are good news for mortgage seekers,
They are?
the mortgage market here is still relatively small, and those transaction costs can be a pain.
They can be.
So what's the bottom line?
The market is always changing.
It's dynamic.
Do your research
Understand the specific area you're interested in,
and seek expert advice.
like from Excel Edge Realty,
We can help you find the property that meets your needs.
and your goals.
We believe everyone deserves to achieve their real estate dreams.
And we're passionate about making that happen.
We hope this deep dive has been helpful.
Remember, knowledge is power in the real estate world.
So stay curious
Ask questions,
and keep learning.
and don't forget to hit that follow button.
And share this episode with your family and friends.
We're here to empower you to make smart real estate decisions.
This is Lex
And Vera,
from the Excel Edge podcast.
signing off.
Salamat po.